And I rise to speak to the dissenting statement that the Honourable Heidi Girolamo and I tabled in this chamber yesterday. Firstly, I'd like to place on the record that I come from the Riverland, have grown up on a horticultural property and continue to live on a horticultural property with my family. As members of the Legislative Council's Select Committee on findings of the Murray-Darling Basin Royal Commission and Productivity Commission as they relate to the decisions of the South Australian Government, the Honourable Heidi Girolamo and I would firstly like to thank the witnesses who appeared before the committee and gave evidence. We also thank the chairperson, the Honourable Kyan Ma, MLC, and the other honourable members of the committee, Committee Secretary Mr Anthony Beasley and Research Officer Ms Leslie Guy. Madam Acting President, we have prepared this dissenting report as we do not agree with all aspects of the interim report of the Legislative Council Select Committee on the findings of the Murray-Darling Basin Royal Commission and Productivity Commission as they relate to the decisions of the South Australian Government. In our view, the interim report is unbalanced in its use of the information that was available to the committee in the way of submissions. There is clearly more evidence that is available that should be included to make this report more balanced, particularly to show where the Basin Plan is working well for South Australia. In rising to speak, I acknowledge some of the words that the Honourable Tammy Franks has said on the report, not many of them, but some of them, and certainly those words about the importance of the Murray-Darling Basin Plan and the need for it to succeed. Madam Acting President, it is also critical that we understand and appreciate that, as the Murray-Darling Basin Authority stated, to get a system-wide improvement, you have to make system-wide change. And the Basin Plan was designed to achieve just that. Madam Acting President, I find it ironic that for the first 15 months of being in this chamber, I was hardly aware that this committee existed, because we did not meet during this time. In fact, when we did finally meet on the 3rd of August this year, we were accepting minutes from the previous meeting held on the 20th of November 2019, Madam Acting President, minutes from almost 2 years ago. So I find it utterly disingenuous when the opposition and some of the crossbench want to sit and lecture the government about South Australians' involvement in the Murray-Darling Basin Plan. Let's look at Labor's track record in this area. In December 2018, the Productivity Commission reported that 0 gigalitres of efficiency measure waters had been delivered for South Australia. 1.9 gigalitres was under contract and 448.1 gigalitres remained to be recovered. 0 gigalitres returned to the environment and only 1.9 gigalitres under contract under the former Labor government's reign. And, Mr President, the relationship between basin states was sour. As of the 30th of September 2021, the Australian Government's Department of Agriculture, Water and the Environment reported that 1.9 gigalitres of water had been delivered, 16.6 gigalitres was under contract and 431.5 gigalitres remained to be recovered. What's more, we are now seeing non-South Australian basin states contributing to the 450 gigalitre efficiency measure water for the first time ever, with 15.9 gigalitres of water contracted with Victoria and New South Wales currently consulting on a 6.2 gigalitre water efficiency project. Mr President, the government is getting on with the job. We understand that there is much more to do, and we are continuing to work with the federal government and the New South Wales and Victorian state governments productively. The state and federal governments are committed to delivering practical projects for farmers to improve water efficiencies on their properties, as well as investing in off-farm projects such as lock and weir maintenance projects and improvements to irrigation channels to reduce water losses in the Murray-Darling Basin. On-farm projects have been and continue to be delivered, such as investment in netting. Crop netting not only results in using less water due to less evaporation, while drip irrigation is also easier under netting, but consistently results in a higher yield whilst using up to 40% less water. Netting also has the added benefit of reducing wind damage, protecting crops from harsh weather conditions, reducing sunburn on crops and improving pest and disease management, resulting in higher quality fruit and greater packouts for growers. Other projects that both the state and federal governments are implementing include the On-Farm Emergency Water Infrastructure Rebate Scheme, which assists with the purchasing and installation of new on-farm water infrastructure for livestock and permanent horticulture that address animal welfare needs during drought and assists primary producers to be more resilient for future droughts by protecting high-value horticultural assets. These projects highlight practical measures, Mr President, that can be taken by farmers to become more efficient in their water use, whilst creating business and job opportunities for other industries within their communities. Liberal governments have always been about and will always be about delivering practical outcomes and ensuring taxpayers' money is spent efficiently and wisely. The Marshall Liberal government is also continuing to investigate opportunities to more effectively utilise Adelaide's recycling water, stormwater capture and reuse networks with the support of the federal government. Mr President, water is a finite resource. Those of us whose homes are on the Murray River and whose families and communities are reliant on this resource know all too well the importance of the health of the Murray-Darling Basin. This plan is not perfect, far from it, but there are a number of success stories across the basin that we should acknowledge and build on. For example, recent environmental floodplain watering events have resulted in 3 floodplains in the South Australian Riverland region, that is my home, the Towilla, Pike and Cataracto Plains, all operating concurrently for the first time ever, signalling a boost in the health of the state's River Murray system. Furthermore, there are many individual success stories across the basin about environmental water supporting environmental outcomes. For example, the number of baby black bream in the Coorong estuary has recently increased due to the environmental water delivery of 500 gigalitres to the lower lakes and Coorong. Mr President, now is not the time to abandon our approach. As Mr Humphrey Howard, chairman of the Renmark Irrigation Trust, put to the committee, we recognise the faults and the flaws, but the idea of having a plan is so much better than having no plan at all. Thank you.